Hello friends, this is Music Man from his man cave, and today I want to talk about something that's going to step on some toes, and that is collecting. When you see something that is so cool and you're like, wow, look how detailed that is, look how amazing that is, I can't believe it, and in a few years when Liam Neeson's old, or whatever this guy's name is, Hemsworth, when Hemsworth is old, this is going to be worth $1 trillion. And guess what? It don't turn out that way. Let's talk about it right now. How many of you guys remember these? In the 1980s, these were the new thing. This is called a VHS tape. And you could actually record onto these, and you could also watch movies on these. The thing is with these is they would wear out, but some people kept them vintage. And I know friends that have walls covered in these in their house. And you know what they're worth today? 50 cents at a pawn shop. I kid you not. 50 cents is all you're going to get. You try to sell one of these on eBay, you're going to get nothing. They're absolutely worthless. But I can tell you, when they first came out, they were like $20 to $30 a piece. And people paid it. And they collected them at that price. And now, you couldn't give this away. If I went out on the street today, I'd say, would you like Empire Strikes Back? People wouldn't even probably take this from me. Because most people don't even have VCRs anymore. It's true. I only have one VCR in my house, and it's never used. And then remember these. Then the next thing that came out was this digital versatile disc. And oh yeah, the collector's edition. And oh man, doesn't it look fantastic? This looks so cool. And you think, well, how dumb could you be? You went from collecting VHS, and then you were collecting, DVDs. Yep. I jumped on the bandwagon too. And guess how much these sold for? About $30 a piece when they first started. And guess how much you pay for them now? $2 a piece at the pawn shop. If you're one of those people that go to Hastings and pay $20 for this when it comes out brand new, you're an idiot. They're cheap. If you wait around, and I even say just wait. Don't even rent. Let it be a surprise. If a movie's good, it's going to still be good later. And so anyway, that's how I live. That's how I roll with these now. How about this? My wife, for Father's Day a few years ago, gave me my first action figures, and I was amazed at how cool they were, how detailed they were, how spoiled kids are today. And this is called an adult collectible. And you can see that it is really cool. I mean, it has all this articulation. His knees bend, and his arms bend, and the hammer's detailed. And I mean, someone really put some love and work into these things. I mean, it's kind of sick. And so anyway, when I saw one of these for sale, and when they used to be only $20 at Hastings, now they've gone up to $24.99. I thought that was pretty cool. And so I thought one day these would be worth something. But I looked on eBay, and guess what? There are people selling these things by the truckload. They're not collectible. And so now if I try to turn around and sell this thing, I'm probably going to sell it for almost nothing. And that's just the truth. That's just the fact. So what have we learned? What we've learned is we always believe that we have something that's valuable or precious or rare, and that one day it's going to bring us back money. It's an investment. Here's another one. I actually got this in a mail, in a cereal box. Boba Fett collectors. Wow, this is going to be worth some money today. Yeah, it's worth about $200 now. That's it. Anyway, the bottom line is they're not going to be worth what you think they are. And if you get rid of them, then you're in a real pickle, because once you get rid of them, you don't have it anymore, and it's very difficult to find them again. So there's the conundrum, whatever you call it, with collecting. Collecting is a fool's errand. If you like to collect things because you want to keep them and maybe pass them on to your kids, I say that somebody probably would think this was pretty cool one day. I think that Thor is going to be around for a long time to come. We're in the golden age of comic book movies right now. And people are going to call this era the golden age of comic book movies, with Dark Knight, Iron Man, Winter Soldier, Just going down the line. Now they're looking at making a Black Widow with Scarlett Johansson movie. I mean, yeah, we're in the golden age but one day that's going to be done with. It started in 1978 with the Superman with Christopher Reeves and Marlon Brando, and now it's escalated to the point where I'm loving it because it's just the golden age for me. But these things are not going to be worth anything. And most times, the stuff we think is so valuable and collectible, one day our kids are probably just going to sell for a quarter or throw it in the dump. And that's the sad fact and reality of collecting. We think it's so precious. We think it's so rare. We think that it's, and there's people collect a lot of things. Now, you may be making fun of me like, what is wrong with this guy? Why does he collect movies and why does he collect action figures? And he's an old man. Well, people collect things are much more stupid than that. I know guys that collect cars that they're going one day going to fix them up. I know a guy that has a whole bunch of bugs in his car, and he's going to make some nice cars out of these bugs, Volkswagen bugs. And guess what? I drive by his house now a decade later, and guess what sits in his yard? You guessed it. And I know women that collect watches and shoes and angels and whatnots and precious moments and on and on and on and on and on it goes, thinking that they have that one precious moment that's going to bring them a fortune. But what about those guys on TV that they go around and they fight and harass those farmers? They get license plates and stuff. And that one guy got one that was worth $1,000. Yeah, but isn't that almost like a full-time job? Is the time you're putting in worth the payout? And then the guy wants $500 for it because he believes that it's priceless treasure. And you might get $1,000 for it. But in the long run, it just comes out in the wash. So the bottom line is with collecting, you need to basically understand that you're probably going to turn around and sell the thing at cost or actually lose value. That's the facts. I'm sorry to burst bubbles. I'm sorry to upset you guys. But those cars, shoes, whatnots, figurines, whatever you have, those porcelain dolls, whatever you think is just absolutely priceless and one day is going to set you for retirement, it is not. They will be worthless, and they will be, most of that stuff will be thrown out in the trash. Or worse, you can give it to your kids so they can follow your pattern of building up a collection of crapola, and then they have them cluttering up their house, and then maybe they have a hoarding disorder. Because what usually is just a small pattern for us becomes a lifestyle for our children. So my daughters are definitely probably going to be hoarders. I hope not, but they could be. Anyway, hopefully you learned something from this. Collecting. If you're collecting things for enjoyment, great. If you're collecting things and believing they're valuable assets, you're a fool. You're making a big mistake. Sometimes if you want to just declutter your life, it's best just to sell them or give them away. Probably, I will one day probably just give these things away. And you're like, no, you can't give that away. Look at it. It's cool. It's awesome. Yeah, right. When someone's selling them by the bulk out of the back of a train, it's not worth anything. There's a lot of them out there. And that's just the day and age that we live. So Music Man, collectibles, not worth it. In fact, I'd encourage you to clean out your house. Sell off the ones that really aren't important to you, and probably I'll keep him, but there's a lot of these back behind me that I'm probably going to get rid of. Take care. Until next time. Stupid with money. See ya.